Clint Eastwood's mysterious absence sparks wild rumors of his life now. Born Clinton Eastwood, Jr. on May 31, 1930, in San Francisco, California. His early life unfolded during the challenging era of the Great Depression. His parents, Clyde and Ruth, moved frequently for work, a nomadic existence that perhaps instilled in young Clint a sense of independence and self-reliance from an early age. He wasn't a bookish child. He was more interested in cars, music, and getting by. He worked various manual jobs in his youth, logging, pumping gas, even serving as a lifeguard, physical labor that likely contributed to his lean, enduring physique. Before pursuing acting, Eastwood served in the U.S. Army during the Korean War era, though he was stationed stateside. A near-fatal experience involving a plane crash he survived after ditching in the ocean off the coast of California is often cited as a moment that may have underscored the preciousness and fragility of life, reinforcing his determined, sometimes stoic, outlook. After his military service, he gravitated towards acting, drawn to the potential glamour but armed with a pragmatic approach. He studied drama and soon signed a contract with Universal Pictures in the mid-1950s. However, this initial foray into the studio system was far from a smooth ride to stardom. Eastwood's early career in Hollywood was marked by frustration and rejection. Universal casting directors weren't immediately taken with him. His looks were considered too rugged, too non-traditional compared to the clean-cut leading men of the time. His voice was criticized for being too soft, almost a mumble at times. He was given a series of bit parts, often uncredited. In B-movies like Revenge of the Creature or Tarantula, he was a face in the crowd, easily overlooked by a studio that didn't quite know what to do with him. After a few years, despite his persistence, Universal dropped his contract. It was a harsh lesson in the often brutal realities of the industry. He didn't give up, though. He pivoted to television, where the demand for content was growing. This proved to be a crucial turning point. In 1959, he landed a significant supporting role in the Western series Rawhide, playing the character of Rowdy Yates, the eager, sometimes naive, trail hand. Rawhide became a hit, running for 8 seasons. It gave Eastwood steady work, visibility, and valuable experience in front of the camera. He learned the ropes, honed his timing, and developed a screen presence that, while different from the movie stars of the day, possessed a quiet intensity. However, even during his successful run on Rawhide, feature film stardom remained elusive. He was a TV actor, a different league in the rigid hierarchy of Hollywood at the time. He continued to struggle to break into leading roles in major films, facing the same criticisms and typecasting that had plagued him at Universal. He was known, but he wasn't a movie star. Yet. This period of struggle, of being underestimated and having to prove himself outside the main gates of Hollywood, undoubtedly shaped his fierce independence and his later approach to filmmaking. The breakthrough, when it finally came, arrived not from Hollywood, but from Italy. While Rawhide was popular in the United States, it also found an audience in Europe. Italian director Sergio Leone, a filmmaker with a visionary and revolutionary approach to the Western genre, saw something extraordinary in the quiet intensity and unique look of the actor playing Rowdy Yates. Leone was making Westerns unlike anything Hollywood was producing, gritty, stylized, violent, and morally ambiguous. He needed a lead actor who could embody this new kind of hero, a man of action and few words, whose face could convey a complex inner world. Leone took a chance on Eastwood, casting him as the unnamed protagonist in A Fistful of Dollars 1964, filmed on a tiny budget in Spain. This film, and its sequels, For a Few Dollars More, 1965, and The Good, The Bad and the Ugly, 1966, collectively known as the Dollars Trilogy, or Man with No Name Trilogy, and revolutionized the Western genre and made Clint Eastwood a global superstar. His portrayal of the taciturn, pragmatic, and deadly stranger captivated audiences worldwide. He wasn't a traditional hero. He was an anti-hero, operating outside the bounds of conventional morality, a perfect fit for Leone's cynical yet epic vision. Armed with his international fame, Eastwood returned to Hollywood, no longer an overlooked TV actor but a legitimate box office draw. He quickly solidified his status with roles that built upon his tough guy persona, most notably as the rogue detective Harry Callahan in Dirty Harry 1971. This film, controversial for its themes and violence, was a massive hit and spawned a successful franchise, cementing Eastwood's image as a no-nonsense, take-charge action hero. But Eastwood was not content to remain just an actor. Inspired by directors like Leone and Don Siegel, he wanted control. In 1968, he formed his own production company, Malpaso Productions, a move that gave him unprecedented independence for an actor at the time. He began directing with Play Misty for Me 1971, a tense thriller. Over the next 5 decades, he steadily built a second, even more acclaimed career as a director and producer. His directing work matured, moving beyond genre pictures to tackle complex themes and historical subjects. He became renowned for his efficiency on set, often finishing films ahead of schedule and under budget, a stark contrast to the often bloated productions of Hollywood. His masterpiece, Western Unforgiven 1992, earned him Oscars for Best Director and Best Picture, finally validating his artistic vision in the eyes of the Hollywood establishment that had once rejected him. He repeated this triumph with Million Dollar Baby 2004, further cementing his status as one of cinema's great filmmakers. Films like Mystic River, Letters from Iwo Jima, Gran Torino, and American Sniper solidified his reputation for delivering powerful, character-driven dramas with his distinctive, understated style. For decades, Clint Eastwood was a relentless force. He acted, he directed, he produced, often doing all three in quick succession. He was famously disciplined, focused, and seemingly ageless in his drive. Even as he sailed past 70, then 80, then into his 90s, he continued to make films with a frequency that defied his age. He was an anomaly, a living legend who simply never seemed to stop working. This iron will, this perpetual motion, became as much a part of his public image as his squint and his growl. He was the man who embodied the spirit of "don't let the old man in." Alongside his prolific career, Clint Eastwood's personal life also had its share of public and private complexities. He has been married twice and has fathered at least 8 children with 6 different women over several decades. This complex family structure, while largely kept private by Eastwood himself, occasionally surfaced in the tabloids, hinting at a life as intricate and multifaceted as his films. While we won't delve into the specific details of every relationship, the existence of a large, extended, and sometimes publicly strained family unit is a relevant backdrop when considering the rumors now swirling around his later life, particularly those concerning family dynamics. But the most striking aspect of his life leading up to the recent mystery is, as mentioned, his near-superhuman work ethic. For a man in his 70s, 80s, and even 90s, the typical pace is retirement, or at most, the occasional cameo. Not Clint Eastwood. He was a machine. He released Gran Torino at 78, Invictus at 79, Hereafter at 80, J. Edgar at 81, Trouble with the Curve at 82, Jersey Boys at 84, American Sniper at 84, Sully at 86, The Mule at 88, Richard Jewell at 89, and Cry Macho at 91. This wasn't just staying busy. This was a level of consistent, high-profile output unmatched by virtually anyone else his age in the history of cinema. He was perpetually visible, either on a film set, in the editing room, or promoting a new release. His commitment to filmmaking was absolute, a defining characteristic of his later years. And this is precisely why the current situation surrounding Clint Eastwood has sparked such intense speculation, such wild rumors. For a man who was defined by his relentless work, his constant presence, his seemingly unbreakable vitality well into his 90s, his relatively abrupt disappearance from the public eye feels profoundly unnatural. His last publicly released film as actor and director was Cry Macho in the fall of 2021. Since then, there has been no official announcement of a completed new project. No sightings on widely reported film sets. Very few, if any, public appearances on red carpets or awards shows, and a noticeable silence from his usually efficient production company regarding upcoming work. For most nonagenarians, this would be expected, even welcomed. But for Clint Eastwood, the man who embodied the spirit of never stopping, this silence is deafening. This is the mysterious absence. And into this void, where official information is scarce and the subject is a legendary figure, what are these rumors? What stories are circulating through the hushed corners of Hollywood, lighting up internet forum and filling the pages of tabloids? They paint a picture drastically different from the stoic, invincible icon the world thought it knew. And because confirmed facts are so limited, these rumors take on a life of their own, growing more elaborate and more concerning with each retelling. This is perhaps the most persistent and concerning rumor, fueled by the simple fact of his advanced age and the natural worries that accompany it, combined with the lack of recent public appearances. The Whisper Network suggests that the reason for his disappearance is a significant, perhaps even alarming, decline in his health. Sources described vaguely as insiders, close friends who haven't heard from him, or even neighbors who rarely see any activity, paint a troubling picture. They speculate that the man known for his physical resilience is now incredibly frail. Rumors suggest he might be struggling with mobility issues, perhaps confined to his home or requiring constant assistance. There are whispers of significant cognitive decline, that the sharp mind that crafted complex narratives and directed massive film crews is now clouded, that he is no longer the quick-witted, decisive figure he once was, perhaps even struggling with memory or recognition. More dramatic, and frankly, sensational. Versions of this rumor hint at serious, life-threatening illnesses that have struck the legendary director. There have been unverified reports suggesting emergency medical situations, moments where his health took a sudden, grave turn, prompting fear for his life. These darker rumors often come with details that feel plucked from a dramatic script, talk of hushed visits by medical professionals, concerned family members rushing to his side. A man who once seemed indestructible now battling unseen forces within his own body. The picture painted is that of a once mighty oak tree finally succumbing to age and illness, a tragic decline hidden away from the world. The lack of recent photographs or confirmed public sightings only fuels this fire. Any rare, grainy photo that does emerge is dissected for signs of frailty, his gait, his expression analyzed for clues. The narrative becomes, if he were well, he'd be out. He'd be working. He'd be seen. The silence is interpreted as undeniable proof that he is simply no longer able to be the Clint Eastwood the world remembers. The rumor isn't just that he's old, it's that he is unwell in a significant, perhaps irreversible, way. His legendary health finally failing him. Beyond physical health, another strong current of speculation centers on his lifestyle. The rumor here is that even if his physical health isn't in catastrophic decline, he has chosen, or been forced by circumstances, to become a near-total recluse. The man who commanded film sets and attended premieres is now rumored to be living a life of profound isolation, withdrawing entirely from public life, professional contacts, and even many social connections. Sources in this vein claim that phone calls go unanswered, emails unreturned. Friends and colleagues who were once part of his world reportedly find it incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to reach him. He is said to be living primarily on his sprawling, private estates, shielded from the outside world by gates, staff, and distance. Why would a man who thrived on work and presence choose such a path, or be living it? Speculation suggests various reasons. Perhaps it's a deliberate choice for privacy in his final years. A legendary figure simply wanting to be left alone after decades in the spotlight. Perhaps it's a weariness with the world, a sense of having done all he needs to do and now simply wanting quiet solitude. Or, more dramatically, The rumors suggest it might be tied to the health issues, that his physical or cognitive state makes public interaction difficult or embarrassing, forcing him into isolation to maintain a semblance of dignity or control. The whispers sometimes paint a melancholic picture, a cinematic titan living out his days alone with his memories, visited only by a select few, cut off from the industry he helped shape. Is he lonely? Is he content in his solitude? The rumors don't provide definitive answers, only unsettling possibilities of a legend effectively disappearing into his own private world, shrouded in secrecy. The absence isn't just from movies, it's from life as the public understood it. He's there, somewhere behind the walls, but unreachable, a ghost in the machine. With a large and somewhat publicly fragmented family, Clint Eastwood's personal life has long been a source of tabloid interest. At his advanced age, with considerable wealth and a complex family tree involving multiple generations and branches, rumors inevitably surface about internal dynamics, potential disagreements, and concerns over his well-being and estate. Whispers in this category suggest there are strains within the Eastwood family regarding his care, his finances, or decisions being made about his life as he ages. Given his fiercely independent nature, any perceived attempt by family members to take control or make decisions on his behalf could potentially lead to conflict. More sensational rumors, often pushed by less reputable sources, hint at deeper rifts, even potential disputes over assets or influence as his health declines or is rumored to decline. Is he being properly cared for? Are certain family members gaining undue influence? Are there disagreements over how his affairs are being handled? These are the dark undercurrents of speculation that inevitably arise around wealthy, aging public figures with complex families. While often purely speculative and fueled by tabloid fodder, these rumors gain traction because of the known complexity of his family life and the natural human tendency to wonder what happens behind the closed doors of the rich and famous, especially when they retreat from view. The absence creates a vacuum that these kinds of dramatic, almost soap opera-like theories readily fill, suggesting that his quiet withdrawal is less about personal choice and more about complicated, possibly fraught, family circumstances playing out behind the scenes. The iconic figure of strength is now rumored to be potentially vulnerable within his own home, subject to the stresses and disagreements of a large family. Not all the speculation surrounding Clint Eastwood's absence is doom and gloom. Among devoted fans and some hopeful industry observers, another rumor persists that his silence isn't due to illness or isolation, but is instead the result of him pouring all his remaining energy into one final, deeply personal, and intensely secret film project. The theory here is that the man known for his efficiency and desire for control is meticulously crafting his cinematic swan song. He's making his last statement, a final masterpiece, perhaps reflective of his life, his views, or themes that are profoundly important to him. And in true Eastwood fashion, he wants it to be done his way, in absolute privacy, without the glare of publicity or the pressure of expectations until it's ready to be revealed. This rumor paints a picture of the legendary director, working quietly on his ranch or in a private studio space, surrounded by a trusted, minimal crew, dedicating himself entirely to this ultimate creative endeavor. His absence from public life isn't a sign of decline, but a sign of intense focus and dedication to a final piece of art. While concrete evidence for this rumor is also scarce, no set photos leak, no casting news emerges. It resonates with the image of Eastwood as a relentless, independent artist. It's the narrative many want to believe, that the icon is going out not with a whimper, but with a final, powerful statement, planned and executed in the shadows until he is ready to unveil it to the world. It turns the mysterious absence into a dramatic act of artistic control, his final act of mastery over his own narrative. At 94 years old, as of May 2024, a slowing down is not just natural, it is expected. Most individuals at this age are long retired, living quiet lives. The fact that Clint Eastwood was still actively directing and starring in major motion pictures well into his early 90s is, in itself, extraordinary and a testament to his unique constitution and drive. His last known major public activity was the release and promotion of Cry Macho in late 2021. Since then, appearances have been rare. Occasional unverified photos surface, sometimes showing him looking frail, other times seemingly robust for his age, each image fueling a new wave of debate and speculation online. The context of his age is crucial. Any absence, any hint of declining health, is immediately viewed through the lens of his mortality, a reality that feels particularly stark for a man who always seemed larger than life, impervious to time. The current period of his life, this quiet phase after decades of relentless visibility, remains shrouded in uncertainty for the public. Is he genuinely ill? Has he chosen a life of private seclusion? Are there complex family dynamics at play? Or is he, perhaps, quietly working on one last project? Clint Eastwood's legacy in cinema is monumental, undeniable. He is a rare figure who achieved iconic status as both a leading actor and a celebrated, award-winning director. His films have entertained, provoked, and endured, reflecting a distinct vision and a singular talent. But as he navigates his 10th decade, his life has acquired a new layer of mystery, a dramatic final act that the public is left to speculate about. His enigmatic absence, so contrary to his lifetime of visible work, has become a defining characteristic of his life now. It's a void that the wild rumors rush to fill, stories of severe health issues, profound isolation, family discord, or perhaps a secret final creative endeavor. This period of quiet, this shroud of rumor and speculation, has become intrinsically linked to his later life narrative. It highlights the intense public fascination with its icons, our collective need to know what happens even when they seek privacy. It also, perhaps, underscores Clint Eastwood's enduring nature as an enigma. Even now, when logic suggests a natural slowing down, his silence feels more significant, more mysterious because it's him. Will the truth behind the rumors ever be fully revealed? Will he emerge with a final film? Or will his quiet absence simply continue, leaving his final years forever open to speculation? Only time will tell. Or perhaps the secrets of Clint Eastwood's life now will remain one of Hollywood's most compelling and wildest unsolved mysteries.